Yo, Nick, you got that Sea Thieves video going up soon so I can write a rapper?
Yeah. Just give me a second. Play some Fortnite right now.
Yo, are those my mice?
Yeah, man. I'm actually using this one to shoot and this one to build. So, yeah, I'll give them back to you later.
Can you just ask next time for you to use my stuff?
Oh, for sure. Sorry, dog.
The hell? Hey, Jake, is that the keyboard that was off my desk?
Oh, yeah, is that cool? I just like to have both when I play PUBG.
Hey, Michael, while you're here, busy day today for me. It was swamped. I was multitasking. I'm using your... I'll give them back to you in like an hour, I think. I said I was talking. Give me a second. Thank you. So the thought occurred to me yesterday. I was watching you play Fortnite. You're playing right now. I was watching you play PUBG. If I'm working at PUBG Corp or Bluehole or for Player Unknown and I'm working on PUBG, Fortnite's success is not a good sign. It might be scaring me. You know, like the derogatory thing to say about PUBG is that it's just a game mode. It's more than that. It's got great map design and like the very premise of it is fantastic, but that's what it is almost. It's like a premise, whereas like you see something like Fortnite doing it so great, parroting that like subgenre almost, you have to like think that people at PUBG are saying, well, now a bunch of other games can do it. Battlefield 5's coming out this year. You know, you have Black Ops 4. You have like, even like someone mentioned like the possibility of Red Dead. I don't think they're gonna do it with Red Dead, but like, I don't make games, but it must be really easy to put this mode into your game and siphon even more players from PUBG. I imagine that might be scaring the people at PUBG right now.
Yeah, I think if you're PUBG, you have to be a little worried, but I also think if you're Fortnite, you also have to be a little bit worried as well, because this formula, although I guess you could say Fortnite has kind of refined it and given it its own twist by creating the building aspects of the game, but while keeping the Battle Royale style, there's a lot to be said about some of the other AAA titles that could go down that Battle Royale mode.
One of the limitations of, you know, having a battle royale game is that the foundation, the game engine, like has to work on a large scale. I know, like we keep bringing up Battlefield. That's because they've done like 64 players. Like I know some servers or mods in previous Battlefield games can hold up to 128 players. So if it doesn't break at that point, then you have the foundation to work with to implement like a battle royale style game.
And you look at Fortnite, which, I mean, when that first came out, Fortnite saved the world. I would have never thought a battle royale mode could fit into that game. I don't know. I'm sure they were working on it longer, but it seemed like within weeks, all of a sudden they had a developer update, and next thing you know, now how big is it?
There's so many of you. We know we want to communicate with you. We know you want the communication. We know you expect
But
it.
that's the crazy thing, yeah. Fortnite is the last thing I thought that this, like you said, that like formula would fit into. But also you look at PUBG and, I mean, I love the game. And like, to be clear, I'm not saying you can't play both of these. We all do and love both of them, especially PUBG, myself personally. But my point being that it could siphon more people away from PUBG. PUBG has not been that great about updating the game. They're doing it weekly and stuff, but there's still always something that I feel like is still very broken or janky. The game since the beginning has been janky. It's felt like that endearingly clunky game mode that I love playing.
Oh God! What is this, chat?
I guess we're fighting our way out of this, right?
Oh God!
So like if Battlefield 5 comes along and DICE with its track history, with its Frostbite engine, it starts like knocking out of the park with a 100-player, 128-player Battle Royale mode, what is my incentive to go back to PUBG, which I know is still at that point might be fairly rough around the edges?
To fill in that void though, it would probably be a game that's a little bit more on the realistic side, but can also be accessible in a way. I know you always bring up that Fortnite is widely successful because it's free. So I'm still unsure as to whether or not like a full price AAA game can kind of siphon PUBG's crowd.
Also, you need to remember there's like different ways players play these games, whereas I find that when I'm playing PUBG, it's more methodical, it's slow, I'm trying to navigate the map and the circles in order to like put myself in a position to win. Versus with Fortnite, I really do feel like rushing other players, building quickly is more like that pace, more style for Fortnite, and so there'll be different kind of ways that people play these games that'll separate it. But yeah, I do totally agree that PUBG needs to find some updates, whether it's new maps, different styles of like modes and things like that.
The thing people were saying when PUBG first came out, that it's just a game mode, almost holds more weight now. Like it was obviously meant as an insult to people who were going crazy about it. I love the game. We play it a lot, but it's crazy because you're thinking of tactical shooters and you're looking at games that are blowing up recently. And I don't want to like say that Rainbow Six Siege should do some sort of mode like this. They're not gonna have enough people, but like it's 5v5. There's no respawns. Who's to say Ubisoft couldn't increase it to like 6v6 and then it's last person standing on a smaller map, right? Like, they just introduced zombies today in Operation Outbreak. Also, I think it's becoming less frowned upon to like copy the genre now. Remember when Fortnite first did it? People were like, oh, it's just a clone, it's cheap. I feel like at first it got a lot of bad press, but now it's like, oh, it has 15 million more people than PUBG. Maybe if I'm at DICE, if I'm at Treyarch, if I'm at Ubisoft, I'm probably thinking to myself, or I'm gonna bring up the idea to my creative director or something, maybe we should try to do this for a limited time and see how it works and then see how many people we get. What do you think PUBG can do to counter this, hypothetical, in some ways hypothetical, in some ways realistic, like siphoning of players?
Well, one of the biggest things, which they've already done, is that PUBG has 2 maps, which for most games that doesn't sound like a lot, but Fortnite still has its 1 map. And just switching between the two completely different maps that you get to play in. And I think that adds a lot, and they have plans of adding more free maps down the road, and I think that will bring a lot of people back every single time.
Not only that, like when you think about it, that's very that's like a kind of a PC outlook at it, and I also think about it for myself and friends who play on Xbox. We still only have 1 map for PUBG on Xbox. We're still waiting for the desert map. They're still waiting for like a lot of optimization things to be fixed on Xbox. There's a lot of things that need to be updated on Xboxes versus the PC version. And I think that also is something PUBG needs to do ASAP, especially with Fortnite being on console, being on Xbox, being on PlayStation.
Yeah,
so,
and PUBG is not on PlayStation, which is the biggest console available now. There's probably a huge amount of people who would probably jump onto PUBG if they could, but can't because it's not there. So then their next option is Fortnite.
With Bluehole, they opened a new office in Amsterdam, right? So now they have South Korea, Amsterdam. PUBG Corp is part of Bluehole or something. I'm hoping that with increased numbers and hopefully resources, they can, maintain the Battle Royale arms race, so to speak, down the road. Because obviously, like, it's still got a ton of players. It's still one of the most streamed games. It's not going anywhere right now. It's still my preferred game. But as far as Fortnite being kind of a bad omen for PUBG, I wonder if there will be like 3 more games that we're talking about that are taking players not just from PUBG but also from Fortnite, and it's becoming this widely dispersed thing. It's like it's like a game mode that's being kind of like slowly spread out over a few games, and I'm curious to see if that just keeps becoming far-reaching.
Yeah, things can look totally different like 2 or 3 years from now, where almost like Battle Royale almost comes standard with multiplayer games, and it's like, well, there's nothing too special about it now. It's just like what you come to expect. I'm not saying that will happen, but I don't see it. Like I see that as a possibility.
I have my fingers crossed that it becomes a staple kind of multiplayer mode, just because of like how fun I've seen it to be, whether it's PUBG or Fortnite. But
I think it'll die eventually. I don't think it'll last forever. I don't want to say it's a fad because I think it's at the point where it's kind of past that point of just being a fad. And I have a feeling plenty of games will do this, but I think people will get sick of it after a while. I mean, I'm 300 hours in PUBG. I still love playing that game, but man, it does not have the same draw that it used to. And for that same reason, like, I've only played a little bit of Fortnite, but I'm not going to spend much more time with Fortnite because it's like I had my fill of the Battle Royale.
Yeah, I'm mainly curious just about what the conversation will be in a year, what games will have jumped into this subgenre, if that's what you want to call it, and like where PUBG is at that point. Because at this point, I think they start to need to think about what they're going to do in the future, maybe just like brainstorm a few ideas.
Hey, Persona Battle Royale, let's get it.
I was waiting for it.